What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Sam Adams here, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about Assassin's Creed Rogue, a game that unfortunately has not gotten much publicity, considering that it is coming out on the same day coinciding with Assassin's Creed Unity, a game that has gotten a lot more publicity and a lot more people are buying it. But when I saw this advertised at GameStop, I thought, what is this game? And I came home, did some research, and I think you guys might want to take a look at it because it has a lot of potential to be one of the best Assassin's Creed games in the series. The only problem is that, again, it doesn't have much publicity. So, without further ado, what is Assassin's Creed Rogue? Basically, you play as Shay Patrick Cormac, an assassin that is slowly turning over to the Templar ways and ends up going after his former comrades. This game takes place between the years of 1752 and 1761. What's really cool is that it takes place in colonial America, which means that these events are happening alongside the events that are going on in Assassin's Creed 3 at the exact same time with Connor Kenway. And this is really cool because I'm hoping that Ubisoft does the same thing they did with Assassin's Creed Liberation, which also takes place in this colonial themed time period, where several of the events that are going on in Assassin's Creed 3 can be seen from the other game, and all in all, it just gives this feeling of, wow, these are actually exploring the same time period just through different characters. That's definitely something I hope to see in this game, but all in all, they tried to go with a time period that we're all familiar with, so they don't have to stretch our imaginations too far, but they did leave some room for creativity. Like I said, the main character is changing over from an assassin to a Templar. This leaves a lot of room for creativity, only because I'm thinking of it like someone sat down and said, man, that Haytham Kenway part of Assassin's Creed 3 was really interesting. I wonder if we could make an entire game based around that. And honestly, if you're really into the Assassin's Creed series, like I have played every one of them, you'll know that a Templar-themed Assassin's Creed game is something we wouldn't really expect, but something that sounds really, really interesting, and I really hope that they pull through on the creative side of it, because again, they've got a lot of movement. So basically, the game's scenery is divided up into 3 sections, or I like to think of it as 3 different places you can kind of explore. First, you've got the North Atlantic Ocean, the Arctic area, and basically this is where most of your naval warfare is going to be going on. There are a lot of changes to the naval warfare that I'll go ahead and get into now. Basically, it seems like there's a growing trend with every Assassin's Creed game as of recently that the naval warfare and the ship battles are trying to become more and more grand. What's cool is that since you're playing as a Templar, assassins can try to board your ship, and they start to kill your crew. So the faster you kill the assassins that are boarding your ship, the less crew members that you end up losing. This, combined with a newer idea of smashing through these little ice-land bridges to reveal new sections of the naval map, combined to make the idea that it's going to be kind of more of what we've seen in the past, but it still has enough newness to spice it up for returning players. Next up, we've got the River Valley, and this is basically a solid mix of rivers and the valley surrounding the rivers, as the name hints. It's going to have that Assassin's Creed 3 forest frontier-like feel to it, where you've got a lot of trees you can run through. I assume, I haven't actually seen gameplay of it, because surprisingly enough, there's not that much gameplay of this game out there. But it combines elements of the woods from Assassin's Creed 3 and also elements of a river that you can run through and ships might come down and you'll have travelers and such. So that's the other kind of section you can explore. And finally, you've got New York, and this is for the returning Assassin's Creed players that want that big city feeling that you get from the Assassin's Creed 2 games and the Assassin's Creed Renaissance Italy kind of scene. It takes place in, I believe it's 1756, New York City. So this gives a lot of creativity again for the development team, because they have all of these 3 different locations that they can work with and they can play around with to try and make a pretty cool experience, something unique that we have never really seen before, and if it's something we have seen before, they can throw a little twist on it just because of how much leeway they have with this game. So, what's good about Assassin's Creed Rogue? Basically, number 1 is that it shows that Ubisoft is still loyal to last generation consumers, because this game is only coming out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 as far as consoles go. It's also coming out on PC. And then what's cool is that this game is developed by Ubisoft Sofia as opposed to Ubisoft Montreal, which works on the Assassin's Creed big name title releases of the year, this year's being Assassin's Creed Unity. So since they're split up between these different studios, it makes for a better quality game on both ends because one company isn't trying to multitask and make a whole bunch of things at once, so they can focus on one experience, and ultimately, more focus on one experience is going to lead to a higher quality game in general. What's bad about Assassin's Creed Rogue is that it is going to get overshadowed by Assassin's Creed Unity. That's just flat out what's going to happen, just because the new generation titles are going to be more popular amongst the consumers, because right now people are paying attention to the new generation as opposed to the older generation. And also, I'm kind of worried that the story is not going to live up to the Assassin's Creed 3 story, since I'm kind of comparing it to that game because it's set in the same time period. And Assassin's Creed 3 was developed by Ubisoft Montreal, so obviously it might be a higher quality game. I've actually never seen anything by Ubisoft Sofia, unless they developed Liberation, I'm not sure. But that's the only thing I'm worried about. To contradict my worries, how can you screw up an Assassin's Creed game that is based off of a assassin turning to a Templar? That just sounds like an awesome concept, and like I've said many times before in this video, the amount of creativity that these guys had is amazing. I wish each Assassin's Creed game could have this amount of creativity, but again, we're just going to have to see what the company can actually do with it. So, if you're a huge Assassin's Creed fan and you need to play every game in the series, or you're going to be playing Unity 2 and you still have an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3 and you want to get all the assassinations that your little heart desires this fall, Assassin's Creed Rogue is hitting PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and I believe PC on November the 11th, again coinciding with the release of Assassin's Creed Unity. So, in the comments below, tell me if you guys are dropping $120 getting both of these games on day one. But if you like this video, drop me a like down below. Again, comment, tell me what you think about Assassin's Creed Rogue in general, if you think that it should have gotten more publicity, if you think that this might be the best Assassin's Creed or the worst Assassin's Creed. Just drop me a comment and tell us what you think. And if you get a second, head over to my channel and check out some of my other content. I tend to post a ton of videos, and I almost guarantee that there is another one that you will find entertaining. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace!